Hi students, and welcome to today's live IELTS class. My name is Adrian and I'm streaming to you from beautiful Victoria on the west coast of Canada. I hope everybody is having a great week so far, staying healthy and staying optimistic. Welcome Carolina, our moderator, and welcome Vipul, Anidruh, and to all of the people, Pamma joining in, welcome members as well. In this class, everyone, we are looking at the IELTS listening section. We're going to practice for that perfect Band 9 score. It is absolutely possible. Be confident and practice for it, and that's just what we will do today. This class is presented to you by aehelp.com for academic IELTS success. Please visit us there for the general IELTS. Check us out at IELTShelp.com. That's generalieltshelp.com. On both of our websites, we have lots of materials. We have 6 original practice exams, over 100 hours of HD video lessons, and a fully interactive course for your phone, computer, tablet as well. We will be using our websites today for the listening. This is our academic IELTS website here with the blue background. You can click that big red button to join our premium package. It is a one-time payment for lifetime access. We are an official British Council IELTS registration center and certified agents. For the general IELTS, same idea, green background. Click that big red button. It's a one-time payment for lifetime access, so it is well worth it. Carolina, I'm just looking at your comment. Onisim, congrats. Awesome scores. Onisim, I know you're a student of mine for quite some time, so I didn't see your comment. I'm going to check it out. There it is. Onisim says, hello, sir. Thank you for your help. I got my scores today. Listening and reading 9. Perfect scores. Beautiful. Writing and speaking 7. Overall band score 8. Onisim, congratulations. An overall band score of 8 means you are a very good user of the English language and you are above the average native English speaking level, which is usually about a 7.5 on the IELTS exam. So very good, Onisim. Onisim, please send me an email. I'd love to get your testimonial. If anybody has questions or you would like to send us a testimonial, hopefully Onisim, you will do this. Please send your inquiries, testimonials to Adrian at aehelp.com. We love to get those. It's those success stories that motivate us to do and give more. All right. Manjot, please do not spam the chat, okay? The cost of our course depends on which country you are in the world. We use geo-pricing to make it more affordable depending on national GDP, so just check it out. Just go to the website and click on Join Course and it'll give you the price. Okay, so we have several more classes this week as well. We'll have classes tomorrow and on Saturday. And for today's class, we are looking at our 4th exam coming from your 2nd exam book. So we're going to get right into our listening, everybody. And again, today we're focusing on listening parts 1 and 2, and then tomorrow we'll do parts 3 and 4. We're going to practice the listening, and then I will give you strategy as we go through the answers. So the first step will be to listen and answer these questions. When you're listening and answering, please put your answers into a separate document or in a separate piece of paper. Do not put your answers in the chat because if you're giving false answers, you're confusing people. And also, we want everybody to have a chance to answer on their own, okay? So don't put your answers in the chat. Put them separately. I'm just going to hop over to our website here. We'll use the academic one. Of course, I'm logged in as a premium user, so I'm going to go to my student account. And in my student account, I will find all kinds of goodies. The computer-based exams, a full online course, IELTS exams, workbooks, study plans, lesson videos, and I'm going for this one here, which is the audio CDs. Okay. Now in the audio CDs, the CDs are organized according to exams. So this will be CD 4, and it will be track number 1 because it's listening 1. So I'm going to start this in just a second. I'm playing the audio through my headset microphone, so it might be a little bit quiet for you. If it is, turn up your volume. Try to use a headset because I'm at max volume on my end, okay? So here we go, everyone. Let's listen now. And then let me just maximize the volume here. There we go. And then we'll answer afterwards. Okay, so here we go with test 4 listening part 1.
Recording is copyrighted by 2 Think One Solutions Inc. and World ESL Tutors. You will hear several different recordings, and you will answer questions on what you hear. There will be time given to read the instructions and questions, and you will be given a chance to check your work. The recordings will be played only once. The test is made up of 4 sections. At the end of the test, you will have 10 minutes to transfer your answers to the answer sheet. Now turn to section 1. Listening section 1. You will hear a conversation between a student and a university administrator. First, you have some time to look at questions 1 to 5. You will see that there is an example. This time only, the conversation relating to this question will be played.
Oh, hi there. Is this the University Registrar's office?
Yes, it is. I'm Deborah Reed, the university's assistant registrar. What can I help you with today?
Great. Thank you for seeing me today, Ms. Reed. I have a few concerns about my registration for the upcoming semester.
The student says she has concerns about registration, so B has been indicated for you. Now we shall begin. You should answer the questions as you listen, because you will not hear the recording a second time. Listen carefully and answer questions 1 to 5.
Oh, hi there. Is this the University Registrar's office?
Yes, it is. I'm Deborah Reed, the university's assistant registrar. What can I help you with today?
Great. Thank you for seeing me today, Ms. Reed. I have a few concerns about my registration for the upcoming semester.
Certainly. What can I help you with? Sorry, what was your name again, Ms.?
Anderson, Melanie Anderson. And well, my first question concerns my student record. I'm beginning my second year of uni, but my first didn't go so well.
You're worried about your marks then, Ms. Anderson, and how they impact your registration status?
Exactly. I don't know my precise average, but it is not good. Could you look into this for me?
Absolutely. Could you please spell your last name for me? I've seen it spelt with either an E or an O in the final syllable.
It's an E. Andersen. My family ancestry is Swedish.
Right then. And the next piece of information I need is your student registration number.
Okay, it seems I've left my student identification with my registration number on it in the car. Can I give you some other piece of information or identification?
Yes, you can. Along with your surname, I can find your account with your date of birth.
Great. It's the 20th of August, 1997.
The 20th of August, 1997?
Yes, that's right.
All right. Let's see your account then. Okay, here it is. Well, I see what you mean about your marks. These are certainly not ideal. However, your average is above the level necessary to proceed to year 2 of your program. However, I do see there's a hold on your account which is preventing you from registering for classes.
Yes. See, I thought that was because of my marks.
No, it's not. It's actually because you have unpaid library fines.
Library fines?
Yes. During the past year, you must have been tardy in returning some items to the university library.
Yes, I think I was. Hardly seems like a good reason to prevent a student from registering, though.
I know how you feel, but books are expensive for the university library to acquire, and we must coerce students to pay fines one way or another.
How much do I owe?
£6.20.
£6.20? Well, I suppose it's a relief the total is so small.
You now have some time to look at questions 6 to 10. Now listen to the rest of the interview and answer questions 6 to 10.
Well, now that that is out of the way, I did have another concern. I need advice on what modules to take in my first semester. I'm in the BA Art History program, but as you can see from my record, I failed a class which is a prerequisite for 2 modules I'm supposed to take this semester.
Yes, it looks like that's right. It was Art History 1270 that you failed. Is that right?
1270. Yes, I took it with Professor Calder. I found his teaching style did not match my learning style.
Right. Well, that art history class is indeed a prerequisite for both Art History 2170 and 2260.
Yes, unfortunately, that's what I found out earlier. Is there anything that can be done?
Well, Miss Anderson, I think there is. Here's what we'll do. We'll register you in the module you failed last year, and then we'll put you in Art History 2240, which counts towards your degree in place of 2260. 2240 has no prerequisite, however.
But what about the 2170 class?
Yes, well, that's where we'll have to be creative. Are you comfortable taking an extra class in the spring semester?
Yes, I think so.
Good. We will register you in 1270 and 2240 in the fall, and then register you in 2170 in the spring.
Great. And one final question. Is Professor Calder teaching Art History 1270 again this autumn?
Yes, he is, but I've put you in Professor Hennessy's section instead. I think you'll be more successful.
That is the end of section 1. You will now have half a minute to check your answers.
Okay, students, and use that half minute to check your answers. We'll go through the answers together. Let me just pause our audio on the website here, and then we'll go back to the beginning. Okay, so a very important strategy before we look at the questions and the answers. Some of you at the beginning of the listening might have thought that I've gone crazy and I was scrolling through the exam, or in the paper-based exam you would be flipping through the pages, or in the computer-based exam you'd be clicking through the sections. But in fact, I did not lose my mind. I did not get all crazy. There was logic to my madness. Why did I do that? So why do you think I went to part 2, part 3, and part 4? And you're absolutely allowed to do this. In the computer-based exam, it's actually really easy because you can click through the different parts at the bottom of the screen, so you can do it very, very quickly. Why did I do that? So why did I flip through to those different parts during the instructions? The instructions at the beginning of the exam take about a good, I would say about a good minute. So why did I do that? Why is it a good idea to take a look at part 2, 3, and 4 during the listening section instruction time, which is roughly 1 minute, maybe a little bit more, in fact. Okay. Saswati says, well, I did that to get some knowledge of the entire module. Yeah, Saga says to check the topics of each part and to get ready. Yeah, absolutely. So part 2, part 3, part 4 are quite a bit more challenging than part 1. And you want your brain to kind of get ready. So the brain is an incredible machine, and it does a lot of thinking and calculation without us consciously thinking about it. So it's a good idea to do that. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, so a lot of you who are in my classes regularly know the right answer. It's a very good strategy, okay? So to get an idea of the topic for each of the more difficult parts of the listening section. In psychology, we would say to prime the brain for upcoming information. Okay, so based on that, anybody know what was the topic of part 2? What was the topic of part 3? And what was the topic of part 4? So let's see who was actually paying attention there. So my scrolling, hopefully you weren't just thinking, oh, I think Adrian's losing his mind, but you're actually going, oh, what is this? So Carolina says it was about resorts, zoos, and a turtle. Arda says, yeah, I got part 4. It was something about a turtle, a specific kind of turtle. Yeah, absolutely. Thank you, Carolina, for the help. Yeah. So part 2 will be some kind of a resort. Part 3 will be something about zoos. And part 4 will be something about a turtle. Okay. So resort, zoos, and a turtle. All right. So if you got that much, you're going to have a chance of saving at least a few points in part 2, part 3, part 4. Okay, good. All right. So that's the idea. All right. Let's go back and now answer these questions. Okay, so here you had an example. Now, I want everybody to know that since 2020, so since last year, in the IELTS listening, they do not give an example. Okay, so you don't have this kind of example. All right, keep that in mind. They will start right away with the first question. And the first question is, in which year of university is this student enrolled in? She says this very, very clearly. So is she in her A, first year, B, second year, or C, third year? This is multiple choice, so make sure that you're putting the letter and not the actual word into your answer sheet, or you will get it wrong. Okay, Amra Abbasov says B. Tanmoy says B as well. Arda agrees that it's B. Pamma says it's B. Yep. I agree with all of you. It is her second year of studies. So she says, I'm enrolled in my second year, but my first one didn't go so well. Okay. What is the student concerned about most? So really pay attention to the question. It's not what is the student concerned about. The question is, what is the student concerned about most? Is she concerned mostly about her marks, her registration status, or her identification for number 2? Okay. For number 2, some of you are thinking A, but some of you are thinking B. Assam, yes, this live class is going to be saved. All right. Let me brighten this up a little bit still for this section. Okay, the correct answer here was actually B. So she's most concerned about her registration status. And if you're not sure about an answer, then you should check the transcripts, okay? Good study materials will always include the transcripts for the listening section. The transcripts are basically the written information of what they are saying. So in this case, we have the transcripts here. And you should always do this when you get a question wrong, okay? So here we have Melanie talking with Deborah. Melanie says, "Oh, hi there. Is this the university registrar's office?" Deborah, the registrar, says, "Yes, it is. I'm Deborah Reed, the university's assistant registrar. What can I help you with today?" Okay. And you should have caught this right here, okay? Melanie says, "Great. Thank you for seeing me today, Miss Reed. I had a few concerns about my registration for the upcoming semester." So the first point that Melanie makes is about her registration, right? And then you see it later on, okay? So, hi there. Is this the registrar's office? And it goes on, and then it continues here, and it says, "I'm beginning my second year of uni." So we know that the answer for question 1 comes from this sentence, and it's bold. And then Deborah says, "You are worried about your marks then, Miss Anderson, and how they impact your registration status." So here, the registrar, Deborah, reflects Melanie's concern about her registration status. Again, so yeah, the marks are a problem, but the bigger problem is the registration, okay? Now, another trick or another tip that you can use here is what? So here, the speakers both say registration, okay? But there's also another kind of strategy or another kind of tip that you can use here. What do you think that is? So what is another important tool or skill to use to get this correct? What do you think I'm going to say? Okay. So again, here's a tip. Okay. Make sure to check the transcripts for the listening to understand where the correct answers are coming from. This is 1. Okay. And what else? Very good. So Carolina says use logic, and Lar Yint says use logic as well. Okay. So absolutely, always rely on your logic to know which is the best answer. Okay. IELTS is a very logical test. Not always, but for the most part, it's a very logical test. Let me show you what I mean. So if I'm a university student, what would I be more concerned about? A, my marks, or B, being able to register for classes? Answer, logically, the answer is B. Okay? So if I have bad marks, if I have C's and D's, yeah, I'm going to be a little bit anxious about that and be like, ugh, this isn't good at all. But of course, if I'm not able to register for my next year of classes, that's going to make me even more worried, right? So think about it logically. Of course, IELTS would choose the logical answer as well. The student's going to be more worried about being able to register than about the marks. Makes sense? Yeah? So even if you miss the information or the idea, think logically, and there's a very, 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 very good chance that you're going to get that correct. Okay? So logic is your friend. Rely on it, use it. Don't panic. When you feel like, oh, I missed it, oh, I don't know what's going on, then instead of panicking and freaking out, use logic. Okay? All right. So, Saswati says yes. Ugul Han says yes. All right. So here we had to complete the notes. Below, it's part 1. Be patient. They will spell it. They will repeat it. Don't panic. So here we need the student's name. We know that her first name is Melanie. What's her surname? So Chinny says it's Anderson with an E. Amrach agrees that it's Anderson. Yes, you can write all uppercase, or you can write with the first letter uppercase, rest lowercase. It is a name. So Anderson. Oops, that's not how you spell it. Maybe I'm so used to writing my own name. All right. So Anderson. There we go. If it's all uppercase, that's okay as well. Just with uppercase, remember that it's slower to write all uppercase and it's easier to make spelling mistakes. Okay. All right. So Anderson. Birthday. When is Ms. Anderson born, or when was she born? Anya says 28th of August. Anya, just make sure that your A is a capital letter. If you write small a, August, you'll get it wrong. Okay. So Amra says it's the 20th of August. The correct answer for number 4 is August 20th. Okay. So, and just keep it really simple. You can abbreviate months. I highly recommend learning the abbreviations for months. Okay. So it's AUG20, AUG.20. You don't need the TH. You don't need the full word. It's faster. It's the easiest way to get 1 point. Okay. Library fines due. They have the pound sign here, so you do not need to write the word pound or the symbol. You just simply need the number. Okay. When the symbol is given, do not repeat the symbol in your answer key. Okay. So Apu, Chini, Tanmoy, Prapan all agree that it is 620. Okay. That is correct. That's all you need there. Rashika and Kashirsha, our members, confer that that's the right number. Okay, good. All right. So when the symbol's given, you don't need it. If there's no symbol, then use the symbol pound. Okay. Always use symbols instead of words for pound, dollar, percent. Okay. Okay, good. Let's keep going. So here, we just had a really short little this is called a short answer question. What program is the student in? No more than 3 words for each answer. It's just one question, so we only need 1 answer here, maximum 3 words. Anoop says it's BA Art History. Yeah, that works. Art History would be accepted as well, Kashirsha. So BA or just Art History. Okay. BA Art History, this acronym would be considered 1 word. They would not mark you wrong for that. So BA Art History or just Art History is okay as well. All right. BA would be maybe safer because, you know, the IELTS might say, well, is it a master's or is it a doctorate? But it's a BA in Art History. Okay, let's keep moving forward. So this was matching the class number with the correct description. This is a very typical type of question in the IELTS for this kind of information. So we had 3 different classes. Classes are usually by numbers in your syllabus for your college or university programs. Here we have class 2170, we have 1270 and 2260. And then here we have ABC, taken and failed, will take in the spring, not taking at all. So number 7, 2170. So Kashirsha says that's B. Carolina agrees as well. And I agree with Ashish and Anjali and Carolina and Kashirsha that this is B. The student will take this in the spring. Okay. Class 1270, it's quite well discussed. This one was A. The student took this one and failed it. And then, of course, if you got these 2 correct, you're definitely going to get that one. You can only use one answer one time in this case. If you could use an answer more than once, it would tell you that. It would say, nope, by the way, you can use a choice more than once. But here, nope, it's BAC. Okay, so those are the correct answers, BAC. All right, and then we have one more basically true-false question, or multiple choice, whichever you want to call it. The student is registered for 1270 with the same professor as she previously had. Is it true? Is it false? Kashirsha says it's false. Asad Beck agrees. Yeah, it's false. Okay, so it's B. The registrar clearly says, yes, I know I'd put you with Dr. Hennessy, so not with the professor that you had before. So it is false. Again, if you got this correct, then check it out in the transcripts and you'll see why it's false. Okay, but it's definitely false. She's not with the same teacher. She complained about it. She said, I didn't like the teaching style. Okay. All right. So what was your score for part 1? How did you do? Okay. What did you get out of 10? I always ask this question because you should always check yourself, check your mark, get some feedback. Arda says I got 9 out of 10. Anjali says 10 out of 10. Amra got 8 out of 10. Okay. Ideally, for part 1, okay, in a perfect world, your score is 9 or 10. Okay, so your score is 9 or 10. It's because part 1 is the easiest. If you're losing 2, 3, 4 marks in part 1, it will be difficult to get a high band score because part 2, part 3, part 4, they're just going to be more and more challenging. So if you're losing 2, 3, 4 marks, you're going to be losing even more in the next section. So 9 or 10 is your goal. If you got 9, good. If you got 10, great. Nothing better than a perfect score, right? So, okay, here we go, everyone. Let's get to part 2 now. We know that part 2 is something about a resort, so some kind of a tour of a resort. Again, I'm going to do the same as for part 1, so I'm going to play the audio through my headset. If it's quiet, turn up the volume, use a headset. And I'm going to darken this up a bit for us now because there's a question that's quite bright. So just give me a second here. Okay, it'll get a little bit darker, higher contrast. Let's see. Yeah. Then you should be able to see that question. Okay, let's do it like that. All right. So again, put your answers separately, not in the chat, so that it gives everybody a fair chance to answer on their own. Okay. And here we go with part 2. So just jumping back to the website and then now playing track 2, part 2 off of our website here. All right, let's do this.
Now turn to section 2. some time to look at questions 11 to 16. Listening, Section 2. You will hear a woman showing a group of people around an all-inclusive resort hotel. First, you have some time to look at questions 11 to 16. Now listen carefully to the interview and answer questions 11 to 16.
I'd like to welcome all of you to the White Sands 5-star resort here in beautiful Varadero, Cuba. Today I'm going to show you the fine features you'll get to experience during your stay here at White Sands. Before we begin, does anyone have any questions?
Hi there. Yes, I have a quick question. How long will the tour be? I have to meet the rest of my family for lunch in an hour.
Not a problem, sir. The tour will take no more than 30 minutes. If after this time anyone wants more details on any of the resort's features, I can help them out individually. Any other questions? No? Well, let's get started then. White Sands covers 10 acres of
Okay,
land.
just a sec. It seems like for some people it's a little bit too dark. It's a little bit surprising because I can see it quite clearly on my end still. But okay, let me make it a little bit brighter for you then. If you're finding it that dark, just a sec. There'll be just one question that might be difficult then for you. Just a second, and I'll jump back a bit. Okay. All right. Okay, let me just roll back the audio here. Here we go, and we'll do this again. All right, so let's do it.
Hear a woman showing a group of people around an all-inclusive resort hotel. First, you have some time to look at questions 11 to 16. Now listen carefully to the interview and answer questions 11 to 16.
I'd like to welcome all of you to the White Sands 5-star resort here in beautiful Varadero, Cuba. Today I'm going to show you the fine features you'll get to experience during your stay here at White Sands. Before we begin, does anyone have any questions?
Hi there. Yes, I have a quick question. How long will the tour be? I have to meet the rest of my family for lunch in an hour.
Not a problem, sir. The tour will take no more than 30 minutes. If after this time anyone wants more details on any of the resort's features, I can help them out individually. Any other questions? No? Well, let's get started then. White Sands covers 10 acres of land, including direct access to over 250 metres of pristine Caribbean coastline. It is perfectly safe to swim in the waters here at White Sands, but do be on the lookout for jellyfish in the water. They are not deadly, but their sting does pack a punch. As we pass through the lobby, I want you to take note of the main bar area on your left. The bar is open from 11 in the morning each day and closes at 1 o'clock a.m. each night. As we proceed down the main path, you'll see 4 apartment buildings marked A and B on your left and C and D on your right. Between buildings C and D on your right is one of our finest restaurants featuring traditional Cuban cuisine. We have 7 restaurants in all at White Sands, and we invite you to try your favourites while you are here.
I have a question.
Go ahead.
In our brochure, I read that we are only entitled to 5 restaurant visits per week we stay at the resort. Is that right?
Yes, that's right. The restaurants are only open for dinner, and reservations are mandatory. You will be able to make reservations at the end of this tour or any time before 5 this evening. When you are not dining at our a la carte restaurants, you may eat at either of our 2 buffet restaurants, which are open for breakfast, lunch and dinner. Additionally, there is a night cafe, which is open until 4 a.m.
Does the resort have a nightclub for dancing?
Yes, of course. We have a discotheque located at the end of the main resort path, further away from the apartments. This is, of course, for noise reasons. In fact, the discotheque is conveniently located next to the night cafe.
And what are the discotheque's hours?
It opens at 8 in the evening and closes at 3 a.m. early the next morning. Last call for drinks is at 2:45.
You now have some time to look at questions 17 to 20. Now listen to the rest of the interview and answer questions 17 to 20.
Next, I'd like to take you down to the beach and show you some of the facilities and services we offer. As we approach the beach, you'll notice the brilliant white sand that our resort is named after. The sand is incredibly fine and is lovely to walk on in your bare feet. Now you can see to your left is one of our beach bar facilities. There is also another beach bar about 100 metres to your right. These bars serve beer and cocktails from noon until 4:30 in the afternoon. On your right is a small cafe serving snack food items during the same opening hours as the beach bar. And straight ahead of us is our beach changing facility, where you can change into your swimming costume, use the toilet, or have a shower.
Are there any water sports included in our holiday package?
Good question. Yes, there are. You have unlimited access to our skimboards, surfboards, and beach sports equipment, such as beach volleyball and football. Additionally, you may sign up for windsurfing at our activity desk, located adjacent to the resort lobby. Finally, you may also register for our weekly water polo tournament, which is held each Friday afternoon at 2:30. Does anyone else have any?
That is the end of section 2. You will now have half a minute to check your answers.
All right, students, and always use that half minute to check your answers. Let me just stop the audio on our website here, and then we'll get back to answering these questions together. Okay. So, number 11. Approximately how long will this tour be according to the guide? Anya says it's going to be half an hour, 30 minutes. Okay. Duckwall says C, half an hour. Yeah, the correct answer is C. It's half an hour. The man says, how long will this tour be? And then the woman says, oh, it'll be about 30 minutes. So you don't see 30 minutes, you see the paraphrased half an hour. It's very common that the answers are paraphrased, okay? So don't expect to see the exact same. So the correct answer is C, all right? C. Okay, now this type of question can be a bit challenging. It's good to take notes for this type of question. So what are 4 features of the resort? What's included in the resort? Here you have 4 points because this is questions 12 to 15. The order does not matter. So number 12 could be D, Anoop, because D is a correct answer. There are 4 apartment buildings. So D is one of the correct answers. What are the other 3? And again, it doesn't matter what order you put them in. You just have to get them correct. Rashika says E. There's a number of restaurants. Yeah, I think they said 7 in total. Apurbo says A should be one of the correct answers because there is a night cafe, and that's correct as well. There's no deadly jellyfish because they pack a punch, but they're not deadly. And the last answer that's correct there is direct beach access. Okay, so she says very clearly that you have direct access to 250 yards of pristine coastline, something like that. So A, D, E, and G. Okay. She does not mention the dozen acres of land, and there are 2 buffet restaurants, not several buffet restaurants, and there's no 24-hour Cuban restaurant. Okay? All right? And the jellyfish are not deadly. All right? So the other point, of course, that you have to pay attention to is features of the resort. Deadly jellyfish would not be a feature of a resort. Okay? All right? Okay, so again, logic, right? Pay attention to the questions and the answers. Deadly jellyfish are not a feature of a resort. Okay. What time is last call at the discotheque? Very clearly the answer here was B, 2:45. Okay, so closes at 3. Last call is at 2:45. That means it's your last chance to order a drink. Is at 2:45. Okay. All right. This one you had to choose the correct diagram. So what's the configuration of the buildings on the beach? So she says directly left of the entrance, you will see a beach bar. And there's, of course, another beach bar directly to the right. The one identifier that was a little bit tricky was this cafe. Eventually, she mentions that the cafe is located to the right of the entrance. Okay, so the one that matches is D. All right, so I hope everybody got D there because the cafe matches with the right. So this was the correct answer, so D was the right answer there. Okay, all right. So be patient with these kinds of questions, with the diagram type questions, okay? Listen to those carefully. All right, these answers came quite fast, so my bad for not getting to these as quickly as I should have. It's a little bit more challenging doing it in this way, but on the test you'll get there. So sometimes be ready. The questions and the answers do come quickly in sequence. So here the beach bars serve beer and cocktails from noon until what time? What time? So anybody catch number 18? The woman does say it quite clearly, so even if you didn't catch it, 4:30. So she's speaking quite fast here, but she says the beach bar serves beer and cocktails from noon until 4:30 in the afternoon. You do not need to put PM because you have in the afternoon. Okay, so this gives you a tip. Now, even if you missed 4:30, okay, you know that it would be from noon until, anybody know what time does evening begin in English? So according to English, what is the start? What time is the start of the evening? Anybody? So even if you missed number 18 or you didn't hear it, you should be able to take a good guess at it. Okay, what time does the evening start? At 6 p.m. That's right. It's very important, students, that you know these kinds of standards in the English language. So evening starts at 6 p.m. So afternoon, okay, means that it has to be sometime between 12 and 6, okay? Because 6 p.m. onward is the evening. Okay, so this time here, if you're thinking again logically, from noon until 4, 5, 5:30, 4:30, so you can take a guess there, okay? Evening time starts at 6. So in the afternoon means it's sometime between 12 and 6, and in this case it's 4:30, okay? People usually go for dinner at 5, so it makes sense that the beach bars stop serving their beers and cocktails at 4:30. In addition to the small cafe on the beach, we also offer changing what? So we also offer changing, they're called changing rooms in the US or Canada, but in the UK and I think Australia as well, they use a different word, so they don't say changing room. They say changing facility. Yeah, changing facility. Absolutely. Where you can change in and out of your swimming costume. Again, swimming costume, it's very British English. In Canada, you would say swimming suit. Okay. We also offer plenty of sports at the resort, whether it is skimboarding, beach volleyball, football, windsurfing, or our once a week something tournament. We have activities for everyone. What kind of a tournament? Asad Bek, they might give you number 19 if you put room, but I don't know if they would. I would go with facility for sure. Okay. The correct answer is water polo, and it's 2 words. Water polo. Okay, so it's a water polo tournament. 2 words. Okay, no more than 2 words and or a number. All right, everyone, great job. Add up your scores. How did you do? What did you get out of 20? So if you're looking for a high band score, ideally you're getting at least 17 or more at this point, because part 3, part 4 are going to be even more difficult. So how did you do out of 20? Okay. So Swati says, I got 18. Rahul says, I got 17. Those are great marks. Dyugi, 18 is good. Ahmed says 12. Sour face, bad. Yeah, you definitely want to get more than 12 for part 1 and 2. Okay. 16, though, all is... all right. So you're close, but you want to work to get a little bit more. All right. If you're getting 15 or less, Araf, you got to work, because part 3, part 4 are going to be more challenging. All right. Okay. All right, everyone. So tomorrow at the same time, we're going to do part 3 and part 4 of this listening. In the meantime, I highly recommend checking us out at aehelp.com for academic IELTS and gieltshelp.com for general IELTS. On both of those websites, you'll find lots more listening exams. And again, it's a one-time payment for lifetime access. So it's well worth getting those exams and HD video lessons and apps for your phone so you can study anywhere. You just got to click that big red button. One-time payment, lifetime access. Okay. Omkar, if you found that there's a problem in the premium package of any source, just send us an email so we can help you out and let you know what's going on. Okay? All right. Any questions, anyone? Send me an email. Adrian@aehelp.com. That's it for today. I will be back tomorrow with listening parts 3, part 4 at the same time. We'll do it together just like this so that we can get an idea of our band level and get some more strategy to get some higher scores. Thank you so much for being with me and for all of your effort. I hope to see you tomorrow. Thank you to our moderator, Carolina. Thank you to our members. Have a lovely rest of your day. If it's late in your country, then sweet dreams. Bye for now. I'm Adrian, signing out from beautiful Victoria on the west coast of Canada. Bye, everyone.